Hi Reddit. I'm writing this because I genuinely need to get it off my chest. This happened about 5 years ago, but it still keeps me up at night sometimes. I'm 21 now, but back then, I was a bored 16-year-old who spent way too much time on the internet. It all started on one of those old chat room websites. You know the type. Anonymous, no usernames, just people dropping in and out. I had no malicious intent. I just liked talking to strangers about random stuff. It felt safer than opening up to people I actually knew. One night, I was scrolling through a forum when I saw a post titled, "Bored? Let's chat." It had a link to a private chat room. Without thinking twice, I clicked. There were only 2 other people in there when I joined. Someone with the nickname Quietly Watching and another called Lost Soul 22. I said hi, and they both responded right away. The 3 of us talked for a while about normal things, movies, music, school. It was all pretty harmless. But then Lost Soul 22 left the chat abruptly, and it was just me and Quietly Watching. This person was surprisingly easy to talk to. They asked a lot of questions about me, what I liked, what I didn't like, if I had siblings, stuff like that. I didn't think much of it at the time. In fact, I was kind of flattered. They seemed genuinely interested in me, which wasn't something I was used to. Eventually, though, Quietly Watching started steering the conversation in weird directions. They asked about my routines, when I woke up, what time I went to bed, if my parents were strict about curfews. When I hesitated to answer, they said something like, "Don't worry, I'm just curious. I'm pretty boring myself." At this point, I should have left the chat. I know that now. But 16-year-old me thought I was invincible. As the weeks went on, I kept chatting with Quietly Watching. They started sending me private messages, even when we weren't in the chat room. They never told me much about themselves, just that they were a little older than me and lived far away. I thought they were harmless. Until one night when things took a turn. It was late, maybe 1 a.m., and I was scrolling through my phone when I got a message from them. "Hey, I think we're really good friends now. Can I ask you something?" I replied, "Sure, what's up?" "If you had to guess, where do you think I live?" I thought it was a weird question, but I played along. I said something random, like California, since they'd once mentioned liking the beach. "Close," they replied, "but not quite." That gave me pause. I asked, "Wait, you live in the US?" They sent a laughing emoji and said, "Closer than you think." At that point, I was getting a little creeped out. I told them I was tired and was going to bed, but before I could close the app, another message popped up. "Good night, my name. Sleep tight." I never told them my real name. My stomach dropped. I stared at my screen, trying to remember if I'd accidentally let it slip. But I was always careful. Always. The next day, I blocked them. I didn't even go back to the chat room. I tried to move on, but something about that message wouldn't leave me alone. A week later, I got a text from an unknown number. "Why aren't you answering me?" I felt like my heart stopped. I hadn't given my number to anyone online, let alone Quietly Watching. I blocked the number, but they kept finding me. They sent emails, created new numbers to text me, and even found me on social media. What really scared me was that they didn't just message me. They started describing things about my life, what I wore to school that day, the color of my backpack, even what I ordered at Starbucks. I didn't know what to do. I finally told my parents, who freaked out and went straight to the police. Unfortunately, the messages were anonymous, and whoever this person was, they were good at covering their tracks. For weeks, nothing happened. The messages stopped. I started to feel safe again, like maybe they'd finally given up. But then came the night I'll never forget. I was home alone, sitting in the living room, when I heard a knock at the front door. It was almost 11 p.m., so I wasn't expecting anyone. I peeked through the peephole, but no one was there. I told myself it was probably a prank and went back to the couch. But then, my phone buzzed. It was a new text. "Why aren't you answering the door?" My blood ran cold. I didn't even look outside again. I locked all the doors, grabbed a knife from the kitchen, and called the police. When they arrived, they found footprints outside the front door, but no one was there. I don't know who Quietly Watching really was. I don't know how they found me or why they stopped after that night. All I know is that I've never felt safe online or in real life since then. So please, if you're reading this, be careful who you talk to online. You never really know who's on the other side of the screen.